Hello, hello, hello. How are we? You're going to have to let me know if everything is working or not because, well, we're back in Australia. I hope that you're all well. Thank you, everyone who's jumped in here early on. Just let us know if everything's working, and then we're going to be good. I'll give a quick update on what's been going on with me. I'll give an update on what's happening on Israel, and then we'll go from there. Sounds great, looks great, and you look great. Well, thank you, Andrew. I think you look even better. Thank you very much. 4 a.m. here in the US. Well, I hope that you're doing really well. But it's a different environment to see me in, sitting in the office here, rather than a black screen here as well. So. Oh, I know it'll be asked multiple times, but I have been very, very unwell since I've got back. I was like, I'll get back into this in a day or two, and even down till today. Oh, thanks, Russ. Even down to today, I have been basically on the couch, absolutely out of it. And then, sadly, I've handed that off to Lily. And now Lily, as I left, because we're staying in another house at the moment, because the renovation's getting done at this house, but she got home from work at 5 o'clock, and poor Lily is in bed very, very unwell at the moment as well. So I've given Lily what I had. So still not feeling great. So we might keep this one a little bit shorter. You can probably hear it in my voice. It's just I started getting unwell at the end of the bloody thing, at the end of the trip, and really went downhill pretty much the day I got home. Thank God I still made the wedding. A lot of people thought that I got married. I did not. It wasn't me getting married. It was one of my friends' weddings. But it is what it is. Anyway, hope that all of you guys are doing really well. We're going to talk about what is going on back over in Israel, of course. So we will go over that, and we'll wait for a couple more people to go and see how we go in here. So if I do blow my nose or I do whatever, excuse me. You can see it in my face, yeah. I haven't been good. I reckon it's about the sickest I've ever been, except for like chemotherapy time. Not well, not well, but it is crazy to have come home and seen, I guess, the reaction of, I guess, Australians to what's going on in this conflict, and it's pretty wild. People, glorifying Hamas, which is just disgusting. And a lot of this, so it's weird. I've never got so much hate in my life. That said, don't really care. Hate's hate, but people act as if I'm in one of the bombers dropping bombs. But either way, it has been funny to see that shift as people have gone from the media campaign of what happened in Israel. They've quickly forgotten about the 7th, and then the people have swung onto then that I don't want to call it the Free Palestine campaign, because I don't believe these people, the people that are really angry at the moment, these aren't the people who have been backing Palestine for years now, the people with the intentions of, freeing Palestinians. It's just these people jumping on the bandwagon for some social media likes, or, to get some anger out of their system because they go to the bloody gym. And yeah, it's been wild. Wild, but Rabbit, thank you for love. No, Rabbit, thank you very much. Anyway, should we get into it? I never really know what to do in the start of these lives, because it's a little bit awkward waiting for some people to come in, but then we have some people coming in, going out. I don't know when we should start, when we don't start. We've got some maps to go over, some of them, and some footage to look at as well. Some of the maps are a little bit older, as you'll see by the title of this video. Is they're talking, well, Al Jazeera journalists, whatever. This is the problem with Al Jazeera. This is the problem with any media that has like a bias is Al Jazeera do some fantastic work. And I believe that a lot of the journalists who work for Al Jazeera are fantastic journalists. But as soon as then you have a bias built in like this, then on a topic like this where their bias is, really showing through, it's very difficult to believe. So, yeah, does that make sense? So Mrs. V becoming a member, thank you. So we're going to go over at least what Al Jazeera has said. Now that I've hit this, I can't hit the microphone. Anyway, yeah. So we're going to go over that. We'll have a look. We'll see what's going on, and we will go from there. Right. So now I need to figure out what I'm doing as well with these scenes. Okay, that one to there. Oh, that's not my camera though. Aha. Maybe I'll just delete myself off this screen. Lucky I'm not like naked in that one. That'd be funny. Anyway, from Melbourne, I'm glad you are here. Thank you very much. So let's look at what the okay, this from Al Jazeera across here. This should work. Right. Here we go. So a colleague, they're saying that Al Jazeera Arabic has shared updates from inside Gaza. And as we know, misinformation, you need to take a lot of this with a grain of salt, especially if it's Al Jazeera. But, from updates that we're getting inside of Gaza, the problem is someone like me, I cannot go. Although people act as if I can just walk across and jump the fence and go in there. It doesn't work like that. I can't cross Rafah and get into Gaza at the moment, even if I had bloody wings. Couldn't do it. So we're relying on information coming out of there. That is by biased media, and then also as well, any of the official statements, we're relying then on Hamas. Now, it is going to be what it is. Now, yeah, someone said Willie's been sick. Yeah, I've been very, very, very unwell. I'm still not great. I wasn't going to go live today. I was, Lily's in bed, sick out of her mind as well. And I really just didn't feel like going live today. I wasn't going to do it. But I thought, I don't want to let you guys down. It's been a week, so we will see. Those asking about the new scan, no, I haven't. I've been on either in the couch or bed. I've been too unwell to even call the bloody surgeon. But let's look at what they're saying. So Hisham Zakut, a colleague from Al Jazeera Arabic, has shared these updates, and this is only 24 minutes ago, that Israeli airstrikes has targeted a house in Rafah. Of course, that strike, if happened, is down in the south of Gaza. But what is interesting here is the Indonesian hospital is under Israeli army siege. Some of the medical staff evacuated Al-Shifa hospital, moved to the Indonesian hospital. Now, one of the big bits that you'll know since I spoke to you guys last was that they were approaching Al-Shifa hospital when I was in Israel, and then we saw over the next couple of days post then that Israel then took over the hospital and some of the things they found there. Now, any of you, I know Trey is very loved on this channel, so Trey was actually in the hospital, and I think he's so far he's the only media that at least I follow that I've actually seen inside the hospital. So very interesting there. But what I'm speaking about here is that the Indonesian hospital is under siege. So Israeli tanks and vehicles moved from the Bat Hanun to the Indonesian hospital and are targeting it with artillery shells and shooting anybody that moves around the area. See this? This is Al Jazeera showing their biases coming through here. So let's just have a look then at where this hospital actually is. Now, we do have these maps from Wallmapper, but what I will say is that these are a little bit older. So this is from the 7th, posted on the 18th, but of the 17th. So at least a couple of days older. But you can see here that really since last time we spoke, that Israel has managed to really cross this gap in here. I'll make this smaller. So I figured this out. So we did know that there was still sort of a gap between the north and south on the far western bank of Gaza here. That has, of course, been closed up. That's been a long time back. They had control over that anyway. Over this area, you don't have to, fully take something to be in control of, but they have got this area completely surrounded in here, as well as where the Al-Shifa hospital is, and of course the camp here. Now, this is where the Indonesian hospital is. Now, if this map's a couple of days old, if what then Al Jazeera is going to go by is the Indonesian hospital here has been surrounded here as well. We just have this small gap in here that's still not taken. But look, this is going to update over the next couple of days. And of course, this is showing then this evac corridor. And what we will be looking at later is then I will actually go over and I'll show you guys then what the IDF are saying that they've set up for then the evac corridor. But yeah, I've seen a couple of comments and it's good to see you back. Thank you. And I'm glad that you guys are back in here as well and talking with each other and doing what you guys do. I need to stop hitting this because I'm going to fuck it up every time, but I am glad. I know you guys enjoying talking to each other as well, so that's really great. So feel free to just ignore me talking about the conflict going on over here as I just have a look through some of the notes and stuff that I've made. Now, look, what I will say is probably some of you are more over this than I at the moment. I have basically, if you're waiting on an email or a text or whatever back from me, I'm sorry, but you're just going to have to wait. I've got messages from like close friends of mine yet that I haven't actually, haven't responded to because I've just been laid up, not well, at all. But we do have some interesting footage, as well that we are going to have a quick look at. Now, what I might do is I might let you guys, if you missed the car rides, let me change this to, I still don't know how to do this very well. I'm going to change you guys to get some slow mode. It's going to be on, but it's not going to be as hectic as it currently is now. It's become nightly routine. I know. Anyway. So Elifa says, did you see this CCTV footage of Hamas fighters inside the hospital moving hostages? Doctors were compliant according to the footage. Yeah, I have seen the footage. I was actually going to show you guys the footage on here, but the bloody footage shows a guy with a leg missing, so I don't think I can actually show that on here. I don't know. That footage is hard. Because it's not like as clear as like it's not as clear as shuffling all these hostages through, but it does definitely look like that is the case. So yeah, it's a bloody hard one. But Rick Harwood, butter menthols on me. Yeah, I think I need something stronger than that at the moment. But yeah, so I have seen that footage, and I'm sure more and more of that will start coming out. I think I look like shit in the face too. Classic. Anyway, let's go across to then this, because I found this really interesting. This is like one of the first things I saw then this morning. This operational update, IDF and the ISA forces revealed a significant 55-meter long terrorist tunnel 10 meters underneath the Al-Shifa hospital complex during an intelligence-based operation. So those who aren't keeping up, this is where this area then is. The tunnel entrance contains various defense mechanisms such as a blast-proof door, a firing hole, and an attempt by Hamas to block Israeli forces from entering. For weeks, we've been telling the world about Hamas' cynical use of the residents of Gaza and patients at Shifa Hospital as human shields. Here is proof. And this is something that it's been funny coming home because, like, being in Israel for a long time, for a month, people were like, yeah, look, everyone believed it. Everyone's like, we know that Hamas do this. But then coming back, and literally people will deny that Hamas have done this, and it's like, what? like there's there's footage of it. But that is what it is. But there's actually, I believe this is 2 bits of footage actually stitched together. But I did think this was very interesting when I saw it, and anyone who's done much with any look at this drone footage, you'll notice the similarities of what this looks like. Every time I see a drone coming in, doing sort of these ones, it just reminds me of like a Ukraine video. But here we have Of course, then there's IDF soldiers here, and there's tunnel entrance at then the hospital. And we'll watch them then go down here, and you'll see on this little map it shows where the drone is on the route. So this is something we expected. Like we expected to see, tunnels like this, and we know as they're going in that they were likely to find more and more things like this. So then they come to the bottom of the 3-meter ladder. Oh no, sorry, the 7-meter spiral staircase. So they're now 10 meters below the earth now. But you can actually just see like the build up. Like these aren't just stuff around tunnels. Like this is properly made. Like people forget these tunnels have been made over many, many years, and some of them even decades. And that was then the blast-proof door. Now, I believe this is then the switch over to then the robot. Correct me if I'm wrong. So someone did say, who was it? Envy says, IDF propaganda, come on, Will, you're smart enough to see through the IDF lies. Look, the thing is, in any conflict like this, there is going to be misinformation, disinformation from both sides. There's going to be that. Look at Israel and Russia and Ukraine. Both sides have been officially caught up in bits that are telling fibs. That is just how this is going to go. But at the same time, what is the alternative? Because people will go, we believe everything Hamas says. And you go, well, hang on. You're believing then a blatant terrorist organization. And I'm not saying that therefore you should just believe everything the IDF says. But, you need to have a little bit of peek through and, see what is more reliable information. And you're getting a lot of information, and also the Americans being like, yeah, this is correct. So, anyone who knows anything about my reporting is I come from the whole thing. My whole thing is civilians are innocent. That civilians should be protected at all costs. Civilians, they should be protected, innocent from there. And after that, then we peer through and look at, right, what the hell is going on here? And it can be very difficult because, as you know, people will mold and push things to meet their certain agendas and whatever from there. Mikey says, you've been keeping up with the boys and speak the truth. You should go love them. No, I haven't been keeping up with them. Anyway, let's continue watching as this then robot drone thing moves in through here. So they're calling this a firing hole through then that blast door. And this is something that's a big problem. If you came down through that bloody thing, that would be very, very difficult to then be like, fuck, like, shooting hole, passageway like that. You're going to have to use things like, robots, dogs, whatever, but you're going to be in a funnel of just fire. But at the same time, these tunnels could be the demise also of Hamas, because if they just drop sponge bombs or collapse those tunnels in, well, then they're useless. You're just stuck in there. So it's tunnels could be the greatest and worst thing for Hamas as well. And someone asked a different question: when do civilians stop being civilians? Well, really, any time that they involve themselves in combat or in the war. And this is why this is going to piss off people. This is why I was so against the Ukrainian government putting up all the things about Molotov cocktails in the beginning of the war, like telling civilians, putting up, street posters and signs and blah, 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 saying like, this is how to build a Molotov cocktail. Throw it in this part of the tank and blah, blah, blah. And kids make a Molotov. A Molotov cocktail is a lethal weapon. It is classified as, now whether you agree with that or not, it doesn't matter. A Molotov cocktail is classified as a lethal weapon. And from my own riot control training myself, you can use lethal force on someone with a Molotov cocktail. And at that point, if you're in a tank or you're APC or a soldier, whatever, and someone goes to throw a Molotov cocktail on and you use lethal force back, well, it's changing civilians from civilian to then combatant as well from there. So when does civilian become a combatant? Well, there is parts that can be bloody, line in the sand can be very difficult to see when it goes, but it can be. Yeah, it can be very difficult, especially when you've got partisans carrying information, spying, all of these sort of things. But we do know as well that the Jordanian army have been moving up to the border, also then also on the West Bank. And that's been apparently in coordination then with the IDF, basically to try and get that border to be actually somewhat more stable, just in case that there are more people wanting to come in, fuck around and secure then that border and lock that down from there. Ed Van, mate, nice to see you as well. I appreciate you guys being here. Oh, maybe I'm more unwell than I thought. I can't find the video for you. I wanted to show you guys the video then of the Hamas dude firing the RPG. If anyone can tell me where to find this, he fires the RPG, but you can see the trophy system work then really well on the Makava 4 tank as well. Any news on the Aussie who died in Ukraine? Really read about it on MSN. I not that can be released currently, but there will be more coming out about this. Right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at this. So is then Makava tank. It's unbelievable to think that we actually get more than of this footage here. Like, it's fucking incredible, isn't it? Like, imagine if people had GoPros and shit in like the World Wars. Imagine the wild shit that would have been coming out. Anyway. Oh, this is the video here. So RPG, Makava tank. You can see someone was talking about these. Some bullshit media was saying the red triangle of freedom. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Anyway, see that, but you can. I won't be good enough to pause it, but as far as I'm aware, the trophy system actually did engage successfully that RPG round. There we go. And we believe the trophy system that engaged it. Now, one of the things I will say that is very funny about a lot of this stuff, a lot of this footage coming out, a lot of the footage coming out from Hamas, is they're showing then, them firing RPGs, putting RPGs on vehicles, all this sort of shit. But then they're not showing like the aftermath destruction of the vehicle. Now, if it did kill the tank, if it did blah, 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 then we would then see, they would be showing that as part of, you got to remember the footage released by, whether it be the IDF, whether it be Hamas, it doesn't matter. The footage released is to boost their information campaigns, exactly. Like, the IDF has dropped bombs where they have killed civilians. They're not going to show that. They're going to drop bombs where it's like, hey, look, it hit this direct target here and took out this. So, yeah, exactly. If that makes sense. But that's what I'm getting at is, sometimes we don't see the actual aftermath of it here also. As well, whatever called the red triangle of bloody freedom or whatever it was just bloody ridiculous. I want to find the bit where they run up with the RPG. Dude. Yeah. This is fucking wild. Right, here we go. So McCarver's sitting there. Run up with around, down under the turret. Of course, there's a very weak spot, a very weak point on tanks because, of course, the turret moves independent of the hull, and you're going to have, the movement there as well, and thinner armor compared to other areas. That's why you see, like, on the rear of the McCarver, like the chains hanging down, and bits and pieces like that. It's not that it's not armored, it's just less, and you can get then a mobility kill or a armament kill on the tanks as well. So people who are unaware, there's 3 types of kills on a tank. You can have like a full kill, like the tank is done, people are done, nothing. Then you can have a mobility kill, which means you've like broken off a tread, you've damaged the engine, the gun still works, the crew's still alive, but the tank can't move. And then you can have an armament kill where the tank can still drive around, but its main gun won't engage. So that is, that's what we're looking at when we're talking about tanks being then taken out. So stuffs this, let's get back a minute. Stuffs this right under the turret here. And runs back through this rubble. And that is said to be then the explosion out behind them there. So, one thing we do know for sure is, Hamas is still there, running around and having some success. And we do know that, Hamas, they planned this shit. And they must have known that this was going to happen. They would have had to have known that, with that attack on the 7th, which has all been but forgotten about, that a horrible thing that happened, that that this was going to come. And there's no way that, there hasn't been more training for this, especially by then Iran as well. So it has been just, it's been crazy to see this actually unfold, and some of the success, some are not success, and see what sort of transpires through there. And so as someone says, they poked the bear, and you could not be more correct that Hamas poked the bear. And I don't know where you guys live. You guys can let me know, but it has been interesting seeing how this has evolved through the media. That I reckon Israel only won the media for 24, maybe 48 hours. I know when I was over there I said 72 or 96, but I reckon I'm incorrect. I reckon that Israel was, in charge of the media for, a couple of days, and then people sort of got over it, if that makes sense. And, the support now for Palestine has been huge, which, I completely understand people. I understand people seeing it that way, but then you see this promotion of Hamas, and you're like, this is sickening, as well as like blatant anti-Semitism as well. What is just crazy. And I know Australia is very, Australia love a fucking protest. Australia's like the California of the bloody Southern Hemisphere. The whole thing. The people love to go out and protest about shit they just don't know that much about. I'd actually like to go to one of these and be like, what would you do? Like, if people came into Australia and killed, well, you got to put it in the correct numbers. So to be killed 6,000, 5,000 people, what would our response? What would be a just response to that? Is it what Israel has done? Is it not that? You and I, thank God, aren't the ones to make those decisions. And like I've said, that if the Free Palestine campaign starts with the Free Palestine of Hamas and Iranian Authority, hell yeah, I'd be out there with my face painted and a flag too. But it's so I haven't seen that then yet. But I don't think I'll be streaming for too long tonight, guys. I'm still trying to get on top of whatever gabagool sickness I got. It's put me flat on my ass for a full week. It's been properly rough. And I think whoever said was listening in the beginning, Lily is currently in bed, crook as a dog as well. So that's good that I've handed it straight off to Lily. So she's not she's not too happy about that. But Lil and I did have a good time at the wedding, even if I was just like the entire time, pockets filled with tissues. D Stew says, thoughts on the Aussie divers hurt by the Chinese sonar? Yeah, so for those of you who are not aware, there was Aussie clearance divers in the water. Clearance divers, they're not really the Navy SEALs of Australia. Like it's a different, but they are fairly elite divers. They can carry out combat operations, EOD operations, things like this. They were injured by a Chinese sonar ping. As we do know that sonar can actually kill you if you're close enough to it and it pings you bloody loud. Anyway, yeah, they have been injured by that. And it is, straight up, not escalation, but it's tensions rising between Australia and China. China is, Australia and China don't fucking really like each other, and there has been a lot of beef between us, and Chinese officials sharing photos talking about Australian war crimes that have been committed, things like this. They'll do that. Not that they're ever going to look inwards and see some of the horrible shit going down in their own country, but they'll look over at Australia because large landmass, a lot of natural resources that China need, blah, blah, blah. China and Australia, there's a lot going on there as well. Hyperbeast, did you go to the West Bank and speak with people? No, I had a plan to go. I had a plan to go to the West Bank, and then my fixer fell through the morning of, and then that was near the end of the trip, so it didn't really work for me. But I am planning another trip at some point, and it will include the West Bank for sure. And I am trying to find some more contacts to talk to. It's difficult to find people to talk to, man. It might seem like it's fucking easy, but it's just not. Let's have a look at then what this bloke in Al Jazeera then is saying. Situation on the ground worsens with rain. Due to rain, the situation for civilians and the humanitarian conditions have been exacerbated for those forced to flee especially. The rain is expected to continue with noticeable temperature drop in the coming weeks. The situation inside the Gaza Strip is worsening with the disruption to sewage system and water shortages. There are also concerns about bacterial diseases and diarrhea, especially amongst children. About 2/3 of people in the south fled their houses and could not take essential items to protect themselves from cold or the rain. People in the Gaza Strip are suffering from the war, and with the rain, the situation is worsening. And as we know, in humanitarian disasters like this, and it is a humanitarian disaster, what's happened there, bacterial diseases, this gets really bad really quick, and especially the temperature starting to drop ends up exacerbating how quickly that goes down. Now, we did hear, I think New York Times or one of those shared 3-4 weeks ago that the offensive operation was being delayed by rain, but when I was there, it didn't rain at all. But I will say, in this, when they talk about a drop in temperature, they're not lying. I know even in my short stay in Israel, I noticed a massive change in the temperature dropping from there. So it definitely got colder quick, and that is a real problem. This was a problem when I was in Turkey, Syria, was as it was cooling off, well, this gets really bad. It spreads diseases. So it spreads disease, people can die of the cold. Just a horrible situation all over. And people are saying that now it is currently raining in Israel now. So I'll never deny the humanitarian disaster that's been caused in Gaza is bloody horrible, and we don't know where that goes. I was speaking to someone last night. I was texting one of my mates, and he was like, well, what happens when they want to go to the south? Do they kick everyone down to the north and do like a team's change? Because now there's nothing in the north. And look, I'm not the one to answer what then comes, but that is a realistic problem of, the north has been all but bloody destroyed. I've spoken to some friends who have, done some stuff in and around there, and they're like, there's fucking nothing. The big cat dozers and shit just made roads. And you don't want civilians. In a military operation, not only do you not want civilians there, for the ethics of civilians there, but for a military operation, it helps a lot not having civilians there because you can just bomb shit. The IDF want to get the civilians out to not kill civilians first and foremost, but for the military operation to not having them there really, really bloody helps as well. Someone has to get married yet? No. It's not me getting married, but yeah. Oh, right. Let's have a look. So I want to show you this because the evac routes are still open. We were there when these evac routes first opened. So this is from the IDF to the residents of Jabalaya, Al Duraj, Tafar, and I can't pronounce this. The evacuation corridor will open until 1600 for civilians through the Salah ad-Din route. The Israeli Defense Force urges the civilians immediate evacuation for their own safety. There was a local tactical pause of military operation for humanitarian purposes at the Rafah camp area until 1400. Again, let's have a look at... oh shit, I fucked up. That's the wrong map. Anyway, Hamas has lost control over northern Gaza, and it is trying to prevent Gaza from moving southwards for their safety. Residents whose way is blocked can contact the IDF through this number. And I'm guessing if you contact through that number and say it's blocked at this area, then you'll expect a JDAM coming at some point back through there. But this is where we're talking. Out through here and then into the humanitarian region. So still opening those. That's not a ceasefire. People will call ceasefire. It's not. It's just an operational pause to move people. Now, we did have the other day, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, and so many people have actually hit me up about this, saying that, there's been an agreement to a ceasefire and 50 hostages being released, and so far what I've seen on that was it was not true. It was, I think, publicised by one of the papers, but to what I've seen, it is just rumours that we've seen both then the American administration as well as the IDF or the Israeli administration both say like that we're not doing that. It's not a thing. But we do know that there has been remains found by the IDF's operation inside Gaza. They have found remains also of some of the hostages. I believe 2, but I could be incorrect. So, yeah, the people always ask me about like what's the update for the hostages, and look, I don't know. I don't have an update for you on the hostages, but we do hope that they're alive. But then at the same time, we do think that Hamas will be trying to keep them alive because that's their card, that's their hand. They need to keep the hostages alive because then they don't have anything to hand them back. And as someone corrected me, the 2 female hostages found dead at the hospital, and one of them there, I want to find the Israeli post because the IDF did say that they found that they injured this lady in one of their attacks, but then she was killed there. So I want to find that because it was interesting. Here we go. And it was an IDF member. So let's look at what then
IDF Corporal
the IDF has
Noam
actually said here. Good morning,
was
Ray.
taken
Hope you're doing
hostage
well, mate.
by Hamas terrorists during the massacre of October 7th. Noah was taken into Gaza alive. She was held hostage by Hamas in Gaza City next to the Shifa Hospital.
Corporal Noam Masanio,
During ongoing
injured
combat
from an Israeli Air Force
in the
strike,
vicinity
and
of
the
where
terrorist
she
holding
was
the
held
hostage
captive.
neutralized. So November, then the 9th. So what is that now? 11 days ago, following a preliminary pathological report, it was revealed that Noah's injury was non-life threatening. So from then the IAF strike. Noah was murdered by Hamas terrorists in the Shifa hospital. The IDF will continue to support the family and operate in every way possible to return the hostages home. So,
during 19-year-old
I don't know how to watch
IDF Corporal Noah Marciano was taken hostage by Hamas terrorists during the massacre of October 7th. Noah was taken into Gaza alive. She was held hostage by Hamas in Gaza City next to the Shifa hospital. During ongoing combat in the vicinity of where she was held captive, Noah Hamas captor was killed and Noah was injured. I repeat, she was only injured. An independent pathological report has determined Noah's injuries were not life-threatening. I repeat, Noah's injuries were not life-threatening. What happened to Noah? The world should ask what happened to Noah. According to the intelligence we have in our hand, a concrete intelligence, Hamas terrorists took Noah into Shifa hospital, where she was murdered quickly. Hamas murdered Noah inside Shifa hospital. Our thoughts are with Noah's family. We send our heartfelt condolences to the family. We did not reach Noah in time. This is only make the IDF more determined to do everything in our power to bring all our hostages home.
And this is something that I think the IDF need to do better. One, the IDF need to do better in their media. But what they need to do is to get on wars these days, and always have been, are won and lost by public opinion and support. And the support is bloody 10 to 1 for Palestine to Israel that I'm seeing, at least in the West. At least in Australia, I'll say. Israel, like in this, he says to our intelligence, I think they need to just make all of this. They need to make that intelligence like open source. Like they need to, I know it's fucked, but you're always going to have people on the pro-Israel side. You're always going to have people on the pro-Palestine side, the pro-Gaza. It's just going to happen. But you're going to have a number of swing people in this as well. And well, if you've got that intelligence, you need to release it. It needs to be released so people can actually see it as well, because it is difficult. You see this and you're like, well, who did the report? What intelligence have you got? Because it is difficult as well. It's difficult with Israeli intelligence at the moment, because you're like, well, you had such a huge intelligence blunder on the 7th. I get people going, well, how can we trust the intelligence now? If you missed this build-up for years, how can you tell me that this happened at this specific point, or that how each quarters are underneath these buildings now? And I completely get that as well. Moose says 4-1 favour in Israel polling. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe any of the bloody polling ever, but from what I've seen, they're just the sheer aggression that these people will go by as well. Like, just go and have a read of the comments on my most recent Instagram post interviewing a soldier. And people are making out like I'm Netanyahu. It's fucking wild. Of people who call for ceasefire, but then, send people death threats online. The funny thing is, the top comment on that is actually one of my best mates just taking the piss, and everyone's like, yeah, get Willie. And he's like, yeah, fuck you guys. But it was very, very fucking funny. So, oh, don't worry. I will be back to health at some point. At some point during these streams, we will get better. Aussie Tanks says, good evening, Willie. Good to see you back. Thank you, mate. You missed a massive hit on the North Live webcam. Oh, right. I should have a look at that. I've reached out to a few of these companies about using some live streams, and what I will say is very, very, very expensive, or actually getting permissions to do is very difficult also. It's not as simple as people would actually like to think to get a live feed of Gaza that people will be then talking about. Right. So which one are you talking about? Hype Beast says, well, your 3am crowd will be missing you too. Yeah, exactly, Rabbit. Do you have an opinion on the conflict as a whole? Opinion on the conflict as a whole. I was watching this video today where this guy basically said, and I agree with him, that like anytime we come to war is just the worst of humankind showing that we can't do things together, that it's just a failure of humans. And that's what I think about war. My opinion on this is it is far more complex than I think most people other than a few professors out there actually realise. They will realise, the professors will realise how fucking complex it is. And a lot of people boil this down into this one simple message. And it's like, oh yeah, it's this. And I'm waving a banner for that. And it's like, well, maybe not. Like it's so complex. Like that's my opinion, this is so complex. You're dealing with ancient religions. You're dealing with clashing people. You're dealing with this over decades, centuries of war. And it is incredibly complex. That said, what happened on the 7th was insane, of October, of Hamas coming in to Israel. And, since that date, the response, has it been over? Has it been under? Well, what do you expect? I read a comment the other day that was like, we're now in the find out part of this conflict, referring to F around and find out. And it's like, what is it? And what is it even in your home country as well? So I guess my whole thing on this war is that it's just a blatant waste of life that did not need to happen, but it's going to set back relations decades, if not further. But at the same time, I don't think people realise how complex then this actually bloody is. Now, let's have a look at this footage. Actually, someone brings up a good point too that I've talked about a lot. The next generation extremists is going to be entirely new level. Opal, I think you're absolutely correct. That it is going to breed a whole new round. It's going to radicalise people. And it's not just radicalising people inside Gaza. It can radicalise people anywhere, and it's showing some of this radicalisation. And I do think, sadly, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but I do think we will see more terrorist attacks. I do think we'll see more terrorist attacks around the world in the coming months, or years in this. And it will be interesting to see how publicly, because public opinion drives a lot, especially in the political space, and then political space then drives the military. So it will be interesting to see how this runs up into the next elections, where this goes, where Israel's support is. But someone was like, oh, Israel, they need this. And I was like, I just don't think Israel give a fuck about opinion outside of Israel. I'm like, people are like, oh, I was talking to a few guys and they're like, but, they look bad. I'm thinking, I don't think they give a fuck if they look bad. I think, they're trying to at least keep a lid on how bad it looks. But I think they're like, this is it. Yeah, if that makes sense. Taffy, thank you. Anyway, let's have a look at then this footage, and I'll change this and I'll yawn in the background, hey? Fucking wild, hey? you can just see how close built up area, but also how destroyed everything is in here as well. But close fighting, urban warfare. And that said, the casualties on the IDF side are so much lower than I predicted it would have been. Now, could that skyrocket? Yeah, of course, it could absolutely skyrocket. But it could go up a lot. Someone says the road looks plowed. Yeah, probably from one of the D9 dozers pushing through there. That's what they do. Is they either make new roads or bloody push shit out of the way to have roads. That is something they absolutely do with the big dozers. And I've got some footage of those dozers somewhere on my channel. But then we've got more controlled dems of these as well. And what they're doing a lot of is, you remember where the live stream was? If you remember then, where we were right on that corner of Gaza, there was basically just just a clearing, and then the city actually started. There's a lot still, apparently, of the tunnels popping up in there, and then the Israelis then doing controlled demolitions in and around there as well. So it has been fucking crazy. And it's trying to get an idea still of what is happening there, especially now that I've basically not been I haven't been tracking this conflict for a couple of days because I've been bloody bound up on the bed. Bound up on the bed? I haven't been able to get out of bed. I've been that bloody unwell. But we don't have an idea yet. People always ask me about what are casualty rates. Well, we don't really know. I'm not even sure what the Israeli, what they're saying the figure actually is at the moment of their soldiers killed in the ongoing, in this offensive operation. But I know the numbers that I was hearing right in the beginning were higher, but then they caught up. So 3 or 4 days later, it was getting caught up off the soldiers that were telling me. Dudes, I'm struggling hard. I'm struggling more now after a bloody, how long have we been going, 20-minute stream, than I was 11 hours in to some of the old streams, eh? Absolutely dying from tired. I've been trying to take some drugs and whatever to help, but it's not, I don't really know what to take because I'm not tired. I'm not feeling that unwell. I'm just super, super, super tired. Yeah, don't know. I hadn't been sleeping very well either. Right. Why don't the Palestinians protest against Hamas? Well, yeah, for the same reason a lot of people don't protest against tyrannical governments, but Hamas does have a lot of support in Gaza as well. People don't like to talk about that, and I just it disappoints me when I see these crowds just completely neglect saying there is a actual terrorist organization there, holding people hostage. The hostages held by Hamas are not just bloody the Israeli and the foreigners held. It's also all the Gazans. In my opinion, that is just my opinion, that if Gaza really want to, if the residents of Gaza really want to get somewhere, Hamas has to be gone. But yeah. Let's watch this footage. I'm just watching some of the footage first to make sure we can actually watch it. Mainly because, well, we've already been demonetized, so it doesn't matter anyway. So, what does this show? Published by Hamas, shows 3 armed operatives running into Gaza's Rantisi hospital. Apparently, after spotting the IDF forces, Hamas describes the trio as martyred or fighters, possibly indicating they had SVDs, or suicide vests. SVDs, suicide-borne IEDs, that's what I was looking for. The video shows 2 blasts first, apparently, blah, 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 who cares? So you see the back in on the tanks here.
اللهم صل قلب صل قلب الله اكبر الله اكبر الله اكبر الله اكبر.
You need to see
وأذن.
this. So, I tell you, just the fighting around the hospitals, it just seems then the hospitals are where the fighting is. And it plays into the narrative that Hamas want to set of Israel are the aggressor terror, the terrorist country. Works perfectly if they stay in and around the hospitals. It works for them. By spilling the blood of their own people, they can just blame Israel and people absolutely drink it up. And both sides have done horrific shit. Both sides absolutely have been involved in propaganda campaigns. But that doesn't give an excuse to that either. There's also footage, I can't find it, but it's actually in reference to the interview I did. I know you guys have probably seen it, the 2 interviews I did recently with the guys. And talking about Hamas being in IDF uniforms as well. And you can see this in the video. I wish I could find it. But you can see the Hamas guys being in full IDF uniform. Like, basically perfect uniform. Very lucky that they actually spotted them. There was just something sort of incorrect. So this is saying that there's tanks. Okay, so there is some footage of the tanks in and around the Indonesian hospital, one of 35 hospitals within Gaza. You need to remember, Gaza is the most densely populated area, I believe. Interview's great. Thanks for your insight. Thanks, mate. Appreciate all of that. GG and Rabbit talking again. Not a cool guy. I'm sick too, Willie. Woke up and lost my voice. I sound like a squeaky toy. Yeah, I feel ya. I feel ya. Bloody, I don't think any of us are good in the old health department, eh? Mary's not here. I wish Mary was. Oh shit! Why am I on top chat? I want to do all chats. God damn it! Road trip memories flooding back. Will, if you read the report by Haaretz about the 7th of October, if not, you really should check it out. I haven't read it. There's a lot of reports. A lot of people do just reports, and it's like, hang on, where'd you get this from? But I will read it. I'll have a look. Okay. 3 hours ago, the IDF announced death of 2 more soldiers who died in what they're calling operational activity in the North Gaza Strip. So that takes the official number to 65. This is Staff Sergeant of the Paratroopers Brigade, the 890th, and another younger lad, Sergeant from Paratrooper Brigade as well. So they're saying 65. Now, I've heard numbers beyond that, but let's go with 65. You know, it is, to get an idea of these numbers is always incredibly, it's just fucking impossible. Look at Israel. Oh my God, when I was Israel, I couldn't stop saying Ukraine, Russia. It's like calling your teacher mum or dad. And now I keep calling Ukraine or Russia bloody Israel. Look at the numbers that Ukraine and Russia spew out of casualties. It's difficult. It's all over the bloody place. But I do believe those numbers are fairly on, because I've only ever heard it, 5 or 10 above where it sits, and that's off soldiers. So, yeah, it is. Yeah. Let's get that. We get there at the end. Oh, we do know the Houthis as well, of course, from Yemen, who have fired a number of rockets unsuccessfully at Israel. They did capture a ship as well that was on its way to Israel, are holding it their hostage. Hostage is probably the wrong word, but they have detained a ship moving, and they are saying that it is filled with military equipment as well. And this is then that photograph that they have then released of that here with these rib-style boats, Humvees, and these are, I believe this is an Oshkosh vehicle here. I could be incorrect on that. An Oshkosh or a man. Or neither, and I'm the idiot. Get yourself a scotch and go rest. Yeah, I wish. That would be nice. Get a scotch and have a rest, but no alcohol for me. Definitely trying to have a rest. But something we have been seeing too from my little bits of looking in, because I am going to do a video. I'm going to try to do like alternate days around Ukraine, Israel, something like this. It does look like Russia is taking big loss, but they are making back a fair bit of ground in Ukraine as well. Taking back ground of which Ukraine has only taken in their spring/summer/start of winter offensive, so taking back some of that. But also, Ukraine has managed to take back their first ground in the area that was being captured then since 2014 as well. So that's a big thing on that area as well. No, I haven't got any new tattoos. It's just maybe showing better from the angle. Here we go. Willie, I just worked out that thanks to my new retaining wall, I can hear you playing on the Google Nest Hub in the kitchen when I'm on piss break from the dunny. It's like Whispering Willie Wall. Hey, Whispering Willie Wall is pretty good. So, yeah, the I saw a post today about like, what do you think the outcome of the Russia-Ukraine war will be? Like, where are we going to be in 12 months? And, personally, I think we're going to be in the exact same position we are now. I cannot stop yawning, man. I think we're going to be in the same position then as we are now. There's going to be small plays to and from, but no major breakthrough, because all that's going to happen is, Russia's defense is going to build up, Ukraine's going to build their defenses up, and it's going to be more of this sort of stagnant, small war that we see coming to and from. We have got talks about a new Lancet type from Russia that they are using. What's the name of it? Like an auto-targeting Lancet drone. Someone sent me some information on it that I haven't been able to look into and verify yet, but is bloody interesting. As Australia jumps in onto the NASAMS medium-range missiles as well. Right, let's have a talk to the chat. Get well, Willie. Yeah, dudes. As you know, I'm fucking struggling hard. It's been between, I got like better for like 2 days, and then I just absolutely hit a bloody wall very, very hard, which sucks. That is what it is. Right, so we're seeing the IDF has relaunched a search and rescue battalion consisting of both male and female soldiers in the Gaza Strip providing ground assistance operations. What is a search and rescue battalion? In a military sense, is it rescue hostages or is it people buried in rubble? Oh, it looks like people buried in rubble. Let's have a look at this. Oh, is there any audio? Maybe not. Maybe we just won't have audio. But we can see. Search and rescue, so lifting up slabs, concrete like this of what has been brought down by missile strikes, whatever from here. So I've had guys contact me like, where firefighters are going to go into Israel and help, and I'm like, you don't need to go into Israel. Like, Israel doesn't have a massive problem. They may have in the first days, but with like search and rescue, from missiles and stuff, that's not really a problem now. What you need to do is you need to go into Gaza and do it, but that's a whole nother step from there of danger to go in and pull those people out. Because of course, what has happened there is fucking horrible. Right, so the Houthis vessel, the vessel that the Houthis got, was hijacked by Houthis rebels in the Red Sea. Israel media are saying that there's no Israelis amongst the 22 crew. And that was to back up the photo we just showed before of what they released. They said was on the back of that being the Galaxy Leader vessel. Okay, so this video is just the start of the CCTV inside the hospital that doesn't show, because there's some gore scenes on the other side, on the next camera change, so I can't show that. So let's have a look here. So this is meant to be inside the Al-Shifa hospital on the 7th, when we know Hamas came in and took terrorists, and they're saying that terrorists took hostages. Saying that these are hostages getting run through here. And from some of the other footage, it does look like the doctors, whatever, are complicit in what is happening there as well. How much damage to Hamas do you think the heavy rainstorms have caused? Not that much. The heavy rainstorms are probably going to be more it's the humanitarian side that we spoke about before, spreading disease, and it's just shit living in that if your house has been bloody flattened. So horrible, horrible stuff. But to Hamas itself, well, when we talk about the Gazans have no food or fuel or water, whatever, the Hamas has plenty of it. Hamas has plenty of food and water and shelter, but, the civilians don't. And that's why they're trying to get to them to then these humanitarian corridors, and nor the other Arab states around taking in Palestinian refugees or letting them cross the Rafah crossing there into Egypt either. Let's have a look at this. I'm sorry if I'm yawning and making you guys all yawn at home. This is my first day that I've actually been at my desk doing any work, and I was like, I'm well enough to do some of this. Maybe I'm not. Anyway, the Air Force attacked with fighter jets under the intelligence guidance of Amman and the Shin Bet, and eliminated 3 additional company commanders of the terrorist organisation Hamas. In addition, while directing aircraft to eliminate terrorists and terrorist infrastructure and locating weapons and military equipment, the IDF forces continue to operate in the Gaza Strip to eliminate terrorists. So we have this building here. We'll see the Israeli Air Force strike it. And as you can see, this is why there's search and rescue going on, because if there's civilians in these buildings, you can have... The video I did when I was in southeastern Turkey, I'm actually talking to an Indian rescue guy, an Indian rescue team, and he was talking about how the building, pancakes, collapsed down, but how you can survive on one of the floors, stuck in between 2 bits of, tilt slab concrete. And that's what those search and rescue teams there are doing, although, people can be stuck under them for an amount of days or weeks. So Israeli Air Force still dropping a hell of a lot of bombs. And I had a friend who was working in the same region that I was when I was in Israel, saying that some of the bombing the other night was the heaviest that she had actually seen since the start of the war from that spot where we were. Carl says, yo, what is the definition of a weapons warehouse? Bro, I don't know. I'm guessing a fucking area where they keep weapons. The definitions are bloody hard. When you're dealing with a state military, the definition of what's what is very difficult. What things get actually classified as. One thing I don't really have an update on for you is I don't have an update on what Hezbollah up in the north of what is actually going on. So I was reading S. Less's comment. Your voice issues seem like a distant memory. Does it seem that that way to you? Yeah, it does. It was earlier this year. For about 3 months, I had burst a vocal cord and needed surgery on my voice. But it does seem to have really fixed itself. Just as I said that, the IAF has released an update. The Israeli Air Force, of course, has released an update on the northern border. So let's have a look and a scroll through this and see what is going on and what people are saying and looking at from here. These are a lot slower streams than when we're looking at the black screen, eh? Anyway, let's go to scene 2. An operational update on Israel's northern border. In response to launches over the past 24 hours, IDF fighter jets struck Hezbollah targets in Lebanese territory earlier today. We have this F-16 twin-seater here as well. It targets Hezbollah military compound and military posts and infrastructure used for directing terrorist activities. Several anti-tank missiles and mortar shell launches towards northern Israel were identified. The launches were not intercepted according to protocol. Interceptors were launched towards a suspicious target. The IDF is striking origins of the fire. So these the launches of these from the anti-tank were not intercepted, so haven't actually hit them there as well. So we do know the north is a bigger threat. Hezbollah are significantly more powerful than Hamas, and of course then a proxy of Iran also. Let's have a look over what else is going on. I have been, for those aware, or those are probably wondering, I have been working on trying to get a live stream, but it's not as easy or as cheap as some will claim. It's not easy, but I will be looking into trying to work on something like that as well. Have you booked your appointment with the neurosurgeon yet? No, I haven't. I actually just thought about that today. I thought, shit, I need to ring my neurosurgeon's admin and get that rebooked in because I completely missed that appointment. Oh, I didn't miss it. I rang. Well, I emailed and said I won't make it. Fuck off, Google ad. And I do need to book that in to see what's going on in the old bloody brain. But I do need bloody to feel a bit better before I do that. That said, it could take months to get back in. It's always difficult. It's fucking hard when they're like, you got to book in 3 months in advance. It's like, well, I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 months. Thank you, Barfly Chef. We appreciate that, bro. Is Elon Musk pro-Hamas? No. Elon, I think Elon, like a lot of people, just thinks too much of humans. He thinks we should be better than we are, which we should be better than we are, and believes in, sort of peace. And this is the thing, if you back a ceasefire in Israel, Gaza, if you're someone who says, let's have a ceasefire, people will pin you as pro-Hamas. But if you're someone who says, let's have a ceasefire in Ukraine, Russia, people will then pin you as pro-Russian. So, yeah, that's just how it's going to fucking go. Now let's look at what then this analysis is from Al Jazeera. So, Associate Lecturer of the University of Queensland says the Indonesian Foreign Ministry needs to make a clear statement condemning the attack on the Indonesian hospital and reminding Israel of its obligations under international law. Indonesia cannot diplomatically press Israel because Indonesia doesn't have formal diplomatic relations with the country. But Indonesia can strengthen pressure on Israel's main partners, particularly the United States, the UK and EU states, to ensure that Indonesia hospital is not further attacked. As reported earlier, Israeli tanks are positioned around the hospital complex in northern Gaza, where at least 12 Palestinians were killed and dozens wounded. That said, every coin has two sides. That yes, you all have obligations under international law to not target hospitals, but you also have obligations under international laws not to use hospitals as then military bloody posts for Hamas as well. I'm just gonna go blow me nose. I'll be back in a second. I'm dying here. Oh my god. I'll be back in a sec. Oh, right, okay. I feel a bit clearer. Damn it, I left my tissues here. I had tissues here that I took them out there. Do I look really fucking flushed out? Maybe it's just the camera. Damn. Chair stream is wild. Chair stream is less wild than the black screen stream that we had while I was in where was I? Israel. Fucking hell. Please go to bed. Yeah, I'm not far. I've got to bed. Lil's already in bed. She's passed out, tired. Yeah. Trust me, I'm not far off that at all. What have we got? 1 hour 20. Oh, that's pretty good. Right, I've pretty much done the news update of so far for at least today. I'm not as over it as I should be, purely because I just haven't had the mental compression to look back at media for the last week. I've just been too out of it. Like I haven't looked at anything. I've been editing videos that I've already filmed and put out from there. The scariest was when that drone was looking at you. That worried me in case it was a baddie. Yeah, I agree. But I hope that you guys are doing. How are you guys doing? You guys doing well? Miss your live streams. Wow, you have a live stream now, Marcel. But yeah, I get it. I'm out of water. Willie, have you read the Times article on Ukraine? What is the Times article on Ukraine? The Times, I'm guessing I've got more than one. Well, one thing I will say about Ukraine, guy hit me up talking about that. He was like, and this is a guy I can't say who he is, but a lot of in the know, deep in, basically saying the corruption has got significantly worse than it even was pre-war. And he was actually pulling business out because he's like, this is fucking insane. And he was saying that it's really a big fucking problem. I'm not paying for you the Times. Fuck off. Okay. Israel-Hamas war slowing shell supply to Ukraine, says Zelensky. That's what we'd expect, you know. There's only so many 155 mil shells that have been around. This is a fucking concern. If anything, it might have saved your ass because, the size of war that is Israel, Gaza, Russia, Ukraine, that's still a fairly localized war to an area, unlike an expanded bloody international conflict. And if we're struggling to have fucking artillery shells for that, then fucking hell, you know, not a good sign at all. Either I'm missing some of your chats or you're just not making sense. Kimmy's tired. Let's have a look. I haven't looked. I'm going to do it with you guys. I feel really out of touch since you left Israel. Dude, I feel out of touch since I've left as well. You plan to go back to Israel? I'll go back to Israel if they credit me and I can actually go to Gaza, then I'll go back into Israel. But I don't like my odds of that actually really happening. Now Jesus, how much have I zoomed in? Now, let's have a look over the deep state map of Ukraine and have a look and see what is happening. So today's actually the 20th here, but this is showing the 19th. So this hasn't updated for almost 24 hours now. Deep state, I tell you, deep state having one job, they're very unreliable on updating every couple for the hundreds of thousands of dollars that this website would make. Yeah. Okay, so it's not showing any real movement down on the left bank of Dnipro. Oh, we do know there has been some movement down on the left bank. Let's then have a look. Of course, this is a pro-Ukraine, pro-Western map. I'll show it there. So it does show Russia made back some ground right near to the west of Verbove here. So it does show Russia did make back some ground there. And I think where they made a lot is where we need to talk about is then up near Avdiivka in here. Of course, we need to look. I'll do this on another video. We'll actually look over multiple different maps, but you can just see. Yeah, you can see because this is going to be significantly more conservative towards Russian gain. So let's have a look here. So it's probably more than it's actually showing on this, if that makes sense. Because when I was in here, just down, where's New York? New York below Mariinka? God, this is going to test my memory. But I was in New York. Fuck is it? Oh, wherever it bloody is. There's an area in here called New York. And I was in there, and this line on the map was completely incorrect from where it fucking was. But let's go from the 4th to where we are now. And, of course, the red is Russia. And we'll see that Russia has made some gains in and around Avdiivka here that have been fairly significant in a lot of areas. So we see this now up to the north of Stepove. And closing that cauldron down then on Avdiivka. And a lot of people saying that Avdiivka could look very similar to what Bakhmut did about, this time last year, maybe a bit later. We did see then Bakhmut really start squeezing, and then into the year after, that's when we saw that full squeeze off Bakhmut, and then Bakhmut fall under Wagner PMC. Actually, speaking of Wagner PMC, we have the Willie's Wanker Group hat. It finally arrived. This is the Willie's Wanker Group hat, part of the merch. So go jump on. Go if you want some of the merch. The Willie's Wanker Group merch is... Oh, shit. Other way. Oh, will this focus? There you go. Focus sucks, but... And Benny says, lost a lot of troops for these gains. That's true. Russia did lose a lot of troops for that gain. Are they the numbers that we're hearing speculated? Probably not. Like, you hear some of these like 5,000 a day and you're like, it's not that high. If it was that high, it would not happen. We'll see. Willie, how long before the US wipes Iran off the map? Well, Iran is the problem. Iran is, that is what is happening, is the bloody terrorist government of Iran, supplying these proxies, Hezbollah, and Hezbollah basically contract then Hamas. Big issue. But is the US going to get into another Middle Eastern conflict like that? I don't know. Unless there was major escalation, I would say no. I think a lot of Americans are sick of a Middle Eastern war. It'd be hard to sell it, as well as coming up to these elections. Going to be more and more unpopular. And of course, the two things running into the election, the two big things are going to be Israel, Ukraine. And it's funny, the crowd seems to be both sides of it seems to be opposite sides. So there's a lot of people who are, super pro-Ukraine, who are pro Free Palestine crowd. And the funny thing is on this is that doesn't really line up with where the administration is sitting, if that makes sense. But, right, what is going on? Members only stream? No, I don't watch members only streams. Give it to all the people. I just got a really bad ad. What was that, Benny? You guys, if you're getting ads, great. But this stream is demonetized. It has been restricted, so I don't fucking know. I don't know. Dude, I need to bring back the black. Our highest viewers have been 700. We need to bring back the black stream. The black screen bloody streams. Rocking 2,000 on a night. That's very funny. Oh, fuck, I wish I got some water. How many countries have bases in other countries? Yeah, but how many countries invite other countries in to have bases either? Also, who would you rather have bases? Rather the states have a base than a lot of other countries. Teaspoon update. Shit, it's not at this house. The teaspoon for Lily's at my parents' house. I'm trying to get some updates for you. I desperately need some water. The problem is there's no bathroom at this house, so if I need to piss, I'm either in the garden or I'm driving to the other house. So the stream will go until I need to piss, and then it will be off. Marky says, since YouTube demonetized you, I'll pay you to piss off YouTube. Thanks, Marky Mark. Appreciate that. I'm going to get you some water, dude. I'm dying of thirst. Does it seem to you guys like an ancient memory of us sitting on that bloody hill for fucking 10 hours at a time, watching the flares come in? Missing the code red alerts. Yeah, it seems like a long time ago for me. It was only a week and a bit. Benny says, some get better soon, Dosh. Thank you, Benny, mate. I appreciate that. There's no need to donate, guys. It's not like I'm away again like I was on that a big trip. But I did think, I was like, oh, I better jump in the stream and talk to you guys, because I feel like I'm like, I hope people don't think I fucking abandoned you. Because I was like, fuck, it's been like a week since I've done like anything on YouTube. Yeah, I'm home. For those unaware, yes, I'm back home. But I mean, I'm living between my house and my bloody parents' house. At the moment, my house is getting renovations done. Me and Dad are doing them, which you can tell by the state that I'm in, barely being able to live stream. Physical labour is not my strong point at the moment, with my health. And I've got Lily sick, so Lily's actually in bed. She came home from work at 5 and went straight to bed. I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And she's just can barely bloody talk. Poor thing. So I'm back at my house, where you can't use a bathroom at the moment. And I'll go back. I'll log off soon. Go back. I really just wanted to drop in and say g'day to you guys. That was really it. I'm in South Australia, for those asking. In South Australia, Australia. Do you miss air raid sirens? I don't miss air raid sirens at all. But did you know there are government grants, state and federal, for veteran interviews? No one's ever bloody sent me anything about it. Fuck them. I don't want people to pay me for interviews anyway. I enjoy the interviews anyway. Like interviews, if I could do an interview every single day, I would give up on news. like the thing is, I would do interviews. Like if I could just do that, if I could just podcast, that's what I would do. But getting people, finding people, whatever, is so difficult, especially in this. But we will see. Have you tried some short updates reporting from Ukraine, then a longer, more detailed video, like ATP, Geopolitics, try Creator? No, I haven't. I'm not good at the shorts thing. I like my 10 to 30 minute videos that I've been doing for Ukraine update. I'll do similar for Israel, but I think it's going to be a lot harder. I think doing a video for Israel's update is going to be more difficult, because at the moment it's sort of Israel walking over the top of a lot of the ground there. American talk with some of the politics, where Ukraine, Russia, it's fairly, it's not easy, but there's a lot more movements both back and forward there, especially with we see what Russia is then making these current moves in the east of the country at the moment. Grew up Tea Tree Gully. Hell yeah. Dude. Holy shit. Yeah, we need to get a live stream sorted, but we just cannot. Yeah, I've been trying. I have been trying. Okay, I found some really cool drone footage for you. Let's have a look. Here we go. Scene 2. Scene 2. So this is the IDF in Gaza too. There's some drone footage. So these are the D9 dozers. It's huge build up then of Makava tanks, armoured vehicles in here. More dozers over here. So I'll play this whole thing. I have no idea why this audio is not working. Here we go. that shot. That shot is unbelievable to see. I'm guessing this is on the beach because it follows where these soldiers are here. And then we see the D9. I'm not sure what exactly this dozer is. And the tanks build up here. Philly says, we love supporting your work, mate. Thanks for all your hard work. And I love the live streams, mate, even if I don't catch them live. Dead Set Legends. Thank you, Phil, mate. We appreciate that. Not to worry, there's some on YouTube. Has it dried out now for heavy equipment? Definitely not. I don't, depending what you're talking about. Any tech issues? Thank you, Pacific Blue, mate. Yeah. Those who are aware, have a lot of tech issues, a lot of the time. There's a lot more footage, but I just cannot show you on YouTube. Right. Legends, I think it is probably time for me to pull the pin. I think I've done basically an update on what is going on today in the last little bit, because we are waiting to look at that the Indonesian hospital that is currently surrounded. That is really the update of today as it comes through. If we were doing this longer, you'd probably get more and more coming. But someone says, what are you going to do? Demonetize? Yeah, exactly. Fucking YouTube, eh? They don't like me much. But Legends. Look, I appreciate this being the first stream back in. I was wondering how it would actually perform, because because it was different, of course, to the ones before we left, and definitely different to the ones we had. We had when we were there, but I definitely need to go get some fucking sleep. Try and get on top of this sickness, man, because I'm struggling to do any work, anything. I sat in his day trying to edit something, and I was literally just sitting here dying. So thanks, guys, for being here. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. I'm still trying to work on getting a live stream thing, but the more I look into it, the more it's like people are just telling fibs because it's fucked. But I don't know if we'll be doing lives every night or not, because I just don't feel like I've got enough stuff to do them. Maybe I'll do a video. We'll see. But I'll probably take tomorrow off. I'll upload a video tomorrow, but we'll see. Righto, dudes, dudettes. Thank you guys very much. Thanks to those who made donations as well. You don't need to do that, but I do really appreciate it. But okay, thanks, dudes. I'll see you too.